Hello and welcome to another edition of SporTopics. My name is Tim Siy, aka Jerome Funk. I'll be your guest host for today. As we all know, E3 is underway, and we got a new trailer for Madden 19, but we yet to have a cover athlete. So that kind of got us thinking, who should be on the cover of Madden 19? Now, with me to discuss to my left is Erik Martinez, obviously a Carolina Panthers fan. Angels and Clippers, and he is your usual host. Erik, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, feeling ready to tackle this topic and get my first win ever on this side of the table, not in my usual chair, and feeling ready to go.
Heck yeah. Hey, and to his left is Chris Cambruzzi. He's a Denver Broncos fan, Colorado Rockies, and Avalanche fan. How are you feeling, Chris?
I'm feeling pretty good, I got my motivational note, I got my player. I'm ready.
All right. Hey, well, I'm going to hand the floor over to these guys. They're going to debate, and at the end of it, I will decide the winner based on creativity, passion, and overall argument. So, to start off, I'm not going to give it to home court advantage. I'm actually going to give it to Chris. Chris.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and right off the bat just say Case Keenum. He was in the NFL for, 5-6 seasons before he was with the Vikings last season and switched around different teams the whole time. He originally was undrafted. He was unwanted really from the teams, didn't even play for the Rams when he was with them. And, he just came back, got this opportunity with the Vikings and just demolished it. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the league last season. And it's just total underdog, comeback kid story, and everybody loves that. And I think it'll sell copies.
All right. Erik, who do you got?
So my guy is the one and only Antonio Brown, of course, the best receiver in the game. Great personality, not maybe necessarily great, but great to watch on the field is what I mean. And so he's just the guy that you want the ball in his hands all the time, in the end zone, doing those dances, and he's just no one else is like him, and he should grace the cover of Madden 19.
All right. Well, shoot, I'll let you guys debate. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and give you, for your first arguments, what do you got, Chris?
Well, you know what? I think Antonio Brown, he's just... You said he has a great personality, but let's look at the troubles that he's been getting in.
Okay,
really
great
as for the NFL. We already have an image problem with some of the players in the NFL.
Tell me he's not fun to watch. That's what I mean.
Yeah, he's all right.
Oh my gosh. No.
I think Julio Jones is better.
Okay, well, that's debatable, but we'll talk about that another time. But I could say the same for Case Keenum of there's so many other better quarterbacks. You even said it. Nobody wants him. Nobody did want him.
They didn't. They want him now.
I mean,
the Broncos
they also wanted a bunch of other terrible quarterbacks. So there's just another one to add to their resume. I mean, Case Keenum had one good year. Last year he had the luckiest play ever in the playoffs last season, just because the Saints, defensive back made a terrible play. So he'll get credit for that, for the miracle in Minnesota. But I mean, he had one great year. I don't think he should be on the cover.
I think it was more than just one great year, though. That's why he's wanted. He showed that he's capable. He just didn't have that opportunity like he did with Minnesota.
Nobody. Okay, so here's the way I see it. When the cover athlete gets revealed on EA Sports, Instagram, Facebook, and it gets blown up, and it's revealed that it's Case Keenum, everybody is just, the comment section is just gonna go wild. They're just like, what? Why? Who is this guy? Nobody cares about Case Keenum. They want to see a real athlete out there who is fun to watch, not just some guy who is not great personality, I'll say. But Antonio Brown is the guy that when you watch him, you're just like, oh my gosh, Ben Roethlisberger needs to throw it to this guy every time, because just the way he mocks the other team and the way that he dances and moves, it just is so entertaining, and he just... Madden 19 deserves a guy like that.
Well, I think it comes down to more than just, we're talking about an individual here, but not only does Case Keenum have a really good season last season, but he's a team player too. Antonio Brown, he's the big star. It's always about Antonio Brown, but Case Keenum, he's about the game. He's about the team. It's not all about Case Keenum for Case Keenum. You know what I'm saying? He's a good team player, and I think somebody like that needs their shot on the cover of Madden.
No, I don't. Okay. So again, you just kind of listed all these things. He's a great team player. To me, all that just says is he's boring. He's just a boring guy. And sure, he's the guy that I want on my team, but I want the guy who's gonna amp up my team, who's gonna light that fire, that spark. And Antonio Brown, I can't think of any other guy, maybe Odell Beckham or somebody, but he's better than Odell Beckham. We've already had Odell Beckham on the cover. We already have a wide receiver on the cover of Madden 19, the Terrell Owens on the Gold Edition or Hall of Fame Edition or whatever. So it just makes sense to make two all-time great wide receivers, on the same cover of the same game. To me, I think it just goes hands in hand. They complement each other. I just think the cover for Antonio Brown would be way cooler, the black and yellow colors, than the blue and brown Denver Broncos.
But he wouldn't be the Denver Broncos.
Well, he's on the Denver Broncos now, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, unless you want him on the Minnesota Vikings one.
Well, I mean, that's where he did great. So
so he won't do great on the Broncos. Antonio Brown, we've seen him be great in the Steelers uniform for so many years. All the Pro Bowls, all the catches, all the playoff wins. Antonio Brown is the guy that should be on the cover. That's my case for Antonio Brown. So yeah, not great personality, but fun personality is what I should say. I mean,
if I were to step in here, you guys have both really good points, but really, you guys only gave about 1 point each. They're really good, though. I liked your point on Case Keenum about how he capitalized his season for the Vikings. That's cool. Definitely got to show where he's at. Antonio Brown entertaining. That's what the whole league is dang near about. So, those are really good arguments. But I kind of want to see, in terms of, last year's cover or, the years before, kind of look at what they or how they were there, and why do you believe that your actual vote for who should be on the cover besides just entertaining. And I kind of want to hear a little bit more about, I guess, skill set. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. That's fair. Last year was Tom Brady. Of course, he won that miraculous Super Bowl from the coming from behind. The year before was Rob Gronkowski, of course, the best tight end in the game. So we've already had the best tight end in the game. I don't know why we haven't had the best wide receiver in the game. I mean, Odell Beckham had that one catch. Just based off of that, the year that Antonio Brown had was phenomenal for them last year. Of course, they fell short in the playoffs against the Jags. But still, that doesn't minimize anything that Antonio Brown and the Steelers did. And so, but just his whole career, he's been super consistent, a superstar ever since he entered the league. He wasn't just this guy that was like, oh, I'm a walk-on, and now I get my shot, and I did good. Watch, I bet you next year he's not going to do good, Case Keenum, but
Okay. Well, I mean, so you mentioned the catch from OBJ, and so, you have this trend of people that they show up in the Super Bowl and they're on the Madden NFL cover next year. Well, OBJ, he was one of the exceptions, obviously. So, obviously, it's not always about the Super Bowl. They want something that just stood out from the year. And to me, what really stood out from last year is this story with Case Keenum. He's coming back. He had 5-6 seasons where there's just nothing, and then all of a sudden, comeback kid, he does great. He brings it back for the Vikings, and just like the Steelers, they were in the playoffs. They just fell short, and I think it's a story that the NFL can run with, and that it'll sell copies.
I get that. I think the story, though, more so was the Eagles and Carson Wentz having the MVP season that he had, and then Nick Foles coming in and saving the day. Again, even then, though, I still don't think that they should be on the cover. Even as a duo, maybe Carson Wentz and Nick Foles or any of the Eagles players. I mean, Antonio Brown's been the most consistent guy. He's hardly ever injured, and I just think he deserves his time to shine. You know, the cover could even be him doing the twerking dance thing that he did. That was super controversial. I don't care. The game, it's a video game that people want to be entertained with. And that's the point of a video game, and he is entertainment in the NFL. That's me. That's just what I gotta say.
All right.
Well, it seems like it's coming about to that time, so I'm gonna go ahead leave it to you guys for your closing arguments before I make my final decision. I'm gonna start off with Erik this time.
All right. So for me, the closing argument. Again, I just want to drive home that Antonio Brown has been a superstar in this league for the time he's been in, his whole career. He's been the best wide receiver, and just for a game that just, I mean, I don't want him to get cursed or nothing, but I do want Case Keenum to get cursed, so if he gets on the cover, that'd be cool. But, you know, I think he just embodies what should be on the Madden cover, just fun entertainment, and he's a superstar. Probably a Hall of Famer, and he just deserves it. Plain and simple.
All right. Well, my closing argument is that all these covers, they're always just all about, you know, Super Bowl winners and stuff like that. And I think it's just time that we have a good, you know, underdog story. It came from, you know, like a nothing seasons and just like brought it back around and have a good old redemption story on the cover.
All right. Well, I've heard everything I need to hear. Honestly, I like to root for the underdog. Case Keenum in this case will be the underdog. But, you know, for the most part, I didn't really hear too much in terms of, you know, what makes him more special than just a good year. You know, he had a good year, he had a good run, and with a good team. I'm definitely a Vikings fan. But, you know, in terms of the NFL and in terms of, you know, everything going on, entertaining is what's really gonna hit everything. So, you know, with all that being said, I'm gonna have to give it to, you know, and it's not rigged, but I'm gonna have to give it to
First dog of the year.
but, you know, either way, I just want to say, you know, good luck to whoever gets on the Madden 19 cover, because it is a curse. So really watch your back, watch your ankles, watch your knees, watch everything. But, yeah, the winner of this episode is definitely Erik Martinez. I'm going to have to give it to him.
Watch it be none of these guys. Watch it be like a Todd Gurley or something.
Josh Rosen. That's my pick.
Baker Mayfield.
But for off-the-field reasons.
Oh, God.
Secret for the Chargers.
So, yeah, that seems like it's going to be our episode of SporTopics for today. I'm Tim Siy, the guest host. You probably won't see me too often. Sadly the loser for today, Chris Cambruzzi.
It's a good match. Pleasure.
And your
I don't know if
usual
I'll come
host.
back after this.
We'll have a cooler in here next time.
And your usual host, Erik Martinez. For this episode of SporTopics, goodbye. Question mark?